Daf Yomi tractate Zevachim, page 81b. So we're in the last line of 81a. That's where the idea started, from Mesiv Rava. Last line of 81a. Mesiv Rava. Rava raises an objection from a Braita that discusses a verse describing a burnt offering. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall present the blood and sprinkle the blood. Leviticus 1:5. The superfluous second mention of the blood teaches that it is still called the blood of a burnt offering even after it was mixed with other blood, and therefore it should be sprinkled in its proper manner. And now we turn to 81b. Ma tambud lo imam. Ma Talmud Loima, top of the 81b. Also, Dam. Shiachalen Liela, Elu, Shnizaru Bitimurasa, Af Michaim Tikrav, Minayin Rabbi Tredo Shlopmim. The verse states twice, blood, blood. The Braita explains if blood were written only once, one might have thought, I have derived only that this halakha was stated with regard to a case where this, meaning the blood of a burnt offering, was mixed with the blood of its substitute, as even if these offerings were intermingled, when animals were alive, the burnt offering and its substitute shall be sacrificed. From where is it derived to include even a case of the blood of a thanks offering or a peace offering that was mixed with the blood of a burnt offering, as these offerings are not sacrificed if they became intermingled with a burnt offering while alive. The Braita continues, and even if one says, I include in this first mention of blood, the case of the blood of a thanks offering or a peace offering that was mixed with the blood of a burnt offering, as they are similar in that they both come as a vow offering and a gift offering, like a burnt offering. From where is it derived to include even a case of the blood of the guilt offering that was mixed with the blood of a burnt offering, as a guilt offering cannot be brought as a vow offering or a gift offering? Matan arba kamoisoi bechor upesa maser bechor maser pesach minayim tabel loimo dam. The Braita continues, and even if one says, I include in this first mention of blood even a case of the blood of a guilt offering that was mixed with the blood of a burnt offering, as they are similar in that a guilt offering requires the placement of two placements that are for, like a burnt offering. From where is it derived that the same applies to the blood of a firstborn offering and the animal tithe offering and the paschal offering whose blood is placed on the altar, once on the altar? Therefore, the verse states twice, blood, blood. This repetition serves to teach that in any case where the blood of a burnt offering became mixed with the blood of another offering that is placed below the red line, the blood is presented. This blood is presented. My love, sof oila ubechol, ushmamina makom oila makom shirai. The Gemara analyzes this Braita. What? Is it not referring even to a case of the final portion of the blood of a burnt offering and the blood of a firstborn offering that were mixed? And if so, one can learn from this Braita that the place of the blood of a burnt offering is the same as the place of the remainder of the blood of a firstborn offering. Lo. Tanaihi, Ika dinafka le mihacha. The Gemara answers no. The Braita is referring to the first part of the blood of a burnt offering and the first burnt offering and the blood of a firstborn offering. But if so, what is this Braita teaching us? Is it teaching that the blood of offerings that ascend to the altar do not nullify one another? This halakha is already derived from the verse, and he shall take of the blood of the bull and of the blood of the goat. Leviticus 16:18. The Gemara explains this is a dispute between Tanaim, as there is a Tana who derives this halakha from here, and there is a Tana who derives it from there. V'hai Tanaim v'lach b'dam ha'pam b'dam ha'saril v'lo yalfi. V'stavri emar v'nekaronois midam dam lo yolif dam lo mashbehu. The Gemara has cited 3 different verses as the source for the halakha that the blood of offerings that ascend to the altar and do not nullify one another, they are holy. Numbers 18:17. And he shall take of the blood of the bull and of the blood of the goat. Leviticus 16:18. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall present the blood and sprinkle the blood. Leviticus 1:5. The Gemara notes, and these other Tanaim do not derive this principle from the verse. And he shall take the blood of the bull and of the blood of the goat, as they maintain that the high priest does not mix the blood of the bull with the blood of the goat in order to place the blood on the corners of the golden altar. Rather, each type of blood is placed separately. Additionally, these other Tanaim do not derive this halakha from the repeated mention of blood, as they do not learn anything from this repetition. Ela mikoideshem, my time lo yalfi, kasavri koideshem hem krevin, vein tumorasan krevo. The Gemara asks, but what is the reason that those other Tanaim do not derive this halakha from the verse, they are holy? Numbers 18:17. The Gemara explains, they hold that the verse should be understood as follows. They are holy, meaning they, the firstborn offerings themselves, are sacrificed, but their substitutes are not sacrificed. V'idach nafkele mi ve'im sho ibse Hashem hu karev ve'ein tumorase karevo. The Gemara asks, and the other Tana, meaning the Tana who derives the halakha that the blood of offerings that ascend to the altar do not nullify one another from the verse, they are holy. Numbers 18:17. From where does he learn that the substitute of a firstborn is not sacrificed? The Gemara explains, he derives it from the verse, whether it be ox or sheep, it is the Lord's. Leviticus 27:26. The emphasis of it teaches that it is sacrificed, but the substitute is not sacrificed. Tashima nosan limalo v'lo nimlach elu moidu shiachzol v'yitein amata elu eloi. The Gemara resumes its discussion of whether the place of the blood of the burnt offering is the same as the place for the remainder of the blood of offerings. Come in here, Braita, with regard to blood that is placed above the red line, that was mixed with blood that is to be placed below the line, which according to the rabbis must be poured into the temple courtyard drain. If the priest placed the mixed blood above and did not consult the authorities, both these sages and those sages, meaning the rabbis and Rabbi Eliezer, concede that he shall gain place, he shall again place the blood below the red line, and these placements and those placements count for him. My love, Yehuv Chadash Voilo, Geven Yavli Lamalam, Avilu Shiraim, Mikatani Elveim, Moinu Shiachzol, Yitain Lemanu Shoinam, Koboila, Mikom Shiraim. The Gemara analyzes this Brighton. What is it not referring to a case where the blood of a sin offering and the blood of a burnt offering were mixed? And once the priest placed the blood of the sin offering above the red line, that which is left from the blood of the sin offering is considered the remainder of the blood. And yet, the Braita teaches, both these sages and those sages concede that he shall again place the blood below the red line. And if so, one can learn from the Braita that the place of the blood of a burnt offering is the same as the place of the remainder of the blood of a sin offering. כי רבי יצחק בר יוסף אמר במרווה אנחנו במייסקינן כגון ישראל וחטוס וחיצונים שיריים. The Gemara relates, when Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef came from Eretz Israel to Babylonia, he said that they say in the West, meaning in Eretz Israel, what are we dealing with here? We are not dealing with a mixture of blood of sin offering and blood of burnt offering, but with a case where the blood of a sin offering sacrificed on the external altar, which was placed above the red line, was mixed with the remainder of the blood of a sin offering whose blood is presented inside the sanctuary. This remainder is poured on the base of the external altar. Consequently, once the priest has placed blood from the mixture above the red line, all that remains is a mixture of remainders, which are placed in the same location. Abaye said to Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yosef, why is it necessary to cite the case of the remainder of the blood of a sin offering whose blood is presented inside the sanctuary? Let the master say. It is referring to a case where the blood of a sin offering sacrificed on the external altar was mixed with the remainder of the blood of sin offering sacrificed on the external altar. Perhaps you chose that case to indicate that this is what the Braita teaches us, even according to the one who says that failure to pour the remainder of the blood of a sin offering whose blood is presented inside the sanctuary disqualifies the offering. Nevertheless, if the remainder was merely lacking, as in this case, as some of the blood has been placed above the red line, this does not disqualify the offering. This does not disqualify the offering. Okay. Pause for a moment. Be right back. Continue. Amarle. Where were we? In this case, some of the blood has been placed above the red line. This does not disqualify the offering. Okay. Amarle Rav Tos Fa'ad Ravina. Ha'okimna hi beruba v'yoini mikom yahiv lemala shiur tachtoini v'yoid. Amarle Hanimili leman de'amru mikore ein bilo askona b'choiso ispligi. Rav Tosfa'ah said to Ravina, how can that Braita be cited as proof for the issue at hand? We already interpreted it on A-B with regard to a mixture of blood that is to be placed above the red line with blood that is to be placed below the red line, which contains a majority of blood that is to be placed above the red line, and the priest places above the red line a measure of blood that is to be placed below the line and slightly more. Ravina said to him, that statement applies according to those who said initially that Rabbi Eliezer and the rabbis disagree with regard to a mixture of blood, and that Rabbi Eliezer holds that there is no mixing. But according to the conclusion, Rabbi Eliezer and the rabbis disagree with regard to cups of blood that were intermingled, and therefore the above interpretation of the Braita was rejected. Okay? This concludes the Talmud portion, and we start a new Mishnah. Hanitonin bifnim shenisahu b'nitonin b'chutz yishavchu le'amo. Nasam b'chutz v'chazor v'nasam bifnim kosher. Blood that is to be placed on 3 locations inside the sanctuary, meaning between the staves, on the curtain, and on the golden altar, that was mixed with blood that is to be placed outside the sanctuary on the external altar in the temple courtyard, has no remedy, as one may not change the location of the placement of the blood of one to fulfill his obligation with the other type of blood. Therefore, all the blood shall be poured into the temple courtyard drain. If the priest, on his own initiative, placed the mixture of blood outside the sanctuary, and again placed the mixture of blood inside the sanctuary, the offering is fit. Okay? Bifnim michazav nas b'chutz, Rabbi Akiva posel v'chachamim machshirim. שרבי עקיבא אומר, כל דמים שנכנסו לך בנוהיכם פסולים, וחכמים אומרים, חטוס בלבד. רבי אליעזר אומר, אף האשם שנאמר כחטוס כאשם. If the priest, on his own initiative, placed the mixture of blood inside the sanctuary, and again placed the mixture of blood outside the sanctuary, Rabbi Akiva deems the blood placed outside disqualified, and the rabbis deem it fit. As Rabbi Akiva says, any blood is to be presented outside to enter to atone in the sanctuary is disqualified. But the rabbis say that is the halacha with regard to the blood of an external sin offering, as it is written, and any sin offering whereof any of the blood is brought into the tent of meeting to atone in the sanctuary shall not be eaten. Leviticus 6:23. Rabbi Eliezer says the status of the guilt offering is like that of the sin offering as well. As it is stated, as in the sin offering, so is the guilt offering. Leviticus 7:7, meaning there is one halacha for them. That is not the case with regard to the blood of other offerings. That's the Mishnah, and now we start the Talmud. So the Gemara, v'niflok nami Rabbi Eliezer baha. The Gemara says, the Mishnah teaches that if blood is to be placed inside the sanctuary, was mixed with blood that is to be placed outside the sanctuary, all the blood should be poured into the temple courtyard drain. And there is no opposing opinion recorded in the Mishnah. The Gemara asks, and let Rabbi Eliezer disagree even with regard to this case, just as he disagrees with regard to a mixture of blood that is to be placed above the red line, that was mixed with blood that is to be placed below the red line, where he holds that the improperly placed blood is considered as though it were water. The Gemara explains that Rabbi Eliezer does not disagree in this case, as how should the priest act? If one says that he should first place the blood from the mixture on the altar outside the sanctuary, and again place the blood from the mixture inside the sanctuary, this is not allowed. Just as it is a mitzvah to give precedence to the blood that is to be placed above the red line over the blood that is to be placed below the red line. For example, the presentation of the blood of the sin offering precedes the presentation of the blood of a burnt offering. Since a sin offering serves to effect atonement, so too it is a mitzvah to give precedence to the blood that is to be placed inside the sanctuary over blood that is to be placed outside the sanctuary.